I'm just gonna start recording. I don't care. Thank you, Drew Monson, for the inspiration. Everyone say thank you, fuck you. Drew Monson, if you hate this, I'm gonna be honest. This is gonna be rambly and stupid, probably. Non-linear. So if that is not your cup of tea, goodbye. Love you. No hashtags. If this is on your For You page, it's maybe for you. I already lost my train of thought. This is going to be edited. I'm gonna cut shit out. I'm not gonna try hard about it, but I am gonna cut out when I end up staring into space, because that happens. But Drew Monson inspired me because his vlogs. I know he's been off the internet for a year. Is it they? I should be careful. I know they've been off the internet for a long time, but their vlogs, to me, they resonate with me as a person in the same way that Ro Ramden and CJ the X do, in terms of their chaos, but also their intelligence and creativity and just raw chaos. I don't know what to say, but CJ the X and Ro are crafting something very deliberately, and I appreciate that. And Drew is just doing a video diary. He's just yapping, and I think there's a place for both. And I just, part of me, I saw on TikTok someone saying they create a video diary, but they don't necessarily post it. And part of me is you don't need to put all of yourself out there on the internet. So, should we post this? But well, number one, it feels soul crushing a little bit. And I am in a time in my life where I'm very lonely. I feel like I haven't really found my tribe, people I resonate with. This is Kayla. She's part of my tribe. She and the person I'm about to talk about are why I am here. So you can thank them. Thank them, and also curse Laura for unlocking the most unabashed and chaotic version. Look at me. She actually, my childhood dog, Zach, who looks just like her, hated being picked up. Oh, sorry. But Kayla actually likes being held. Yes. And you like licking faces, even though that's very not allowed. That's gross. I love you. You're very tolerant. Sometimes I can't tell. Sometimes she's a little hesitant. Sometimes she's affectionate. Maybe I can include the clip of her being a little affectionate. Okay, here you go. Do you have your pillow? Oh, do you wanna? Here. Oh, here. Let me put your pillow over here. This is where you were laying. Do you like that? You're just trying to get my lasagna. I was supposed to eat before I started recording because I'm going to be grumpy. It's too hot. It's too hot. Yeah, but my best friend in the whole world, who is the big sister I always needed, and actually could have had, but because of circumstances never, it ended up not being the case. But she's literally everything I could want in a best friend and a person in a big sister role for me. Kind of can't believe that she exists, not to gush too much. But she lives in Australia. She lives on the other side of the world. And the only reason I know her is because I was unabashedly posting fan art of Danny as a 30-year-old. And it was literally not just because it was fan art of Danny, but because I was doing it over and over. And I saw her commenting on every single post of mine. And I realized from the kind of comments she was leaving, and then like on her profile, that she was not a 12-year-old. And I was like, at some point I was like, why am I not like interacting with this person when I say like I wish I could find fans of Danny and Drew. Hello. Fans of Danny and Drew who are my age to talk about. Like, this is so silly. And so we started talking, and she's become my best friend. But so something like this, I mean, this is not art, so I'm a little more ambivalent. But you know what? Sometimes it's also okay. Sometimes there's a dialectical way to approach things where it's like, yes, you don't have to put all of yourself out there, but also sometimes being a weird freak on the internet will, like, sometimes your people are on the other side of the world, and that's like the most beautiful thing about the internet that is slowly being destroyed, is that those people exist, and we are living in a time when we can find those people, and that's wonderful. Where do I even start? Okay, so I'm doing the neurodivergent thing where I have like 5 drinks at once. Where's my actual drink? Oh, it's here. Okay, so I have well, first of all, I have my water. I have this. And I have been known to just like drink straight out of this because I'm an ogre. But I have put it in a Harkins cup at least. Sometimes I set a timer literally for like 15 minutes to remind myself to drink, because I am at that level of spaciness. She says as she spaces out. I have a limoncello LaCroix. Don't need to say why. And I also have these mini Mountain Dews. And I kind of, with stuff like this, the packaging concern, even though I know like on an individual level, it's like, you know, like individually using a paper straw is really just for you to make yourself feel better. But sometimes I just want like a little taste of Mountain Dew to remind myself of what I was like, a deplorable basement dwelling. We don't have basements in Arizona, but I was a gamer grill, as they would say. I hated that I just said that. I kind of want to vomit that I said that word. Gamer grill. Okay, but there's can you see you can't really see the fluid ounces? It's 222 fluid ounces. And then I have this alcoholic beverage, which I have a cautious relationship with alcohol. My mother was an alcoholic, and there's alcoholism in her family. And saying this now, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I also had a bit of a liver scare, but I've also found out that I took on a lot of the problems that my mom had as my own, like as terrible as hers were. It's like, and just whole cloth taking her struggles as what mine would be. And again, that's kind of a black and white approach. So I'm cautious about it, and I'm trusting myself now. I don't necessarily buy the narrative that sometimes people in treatment talk about, where it's like one drink is going to ruin your life and set you back. I think it can for some people, and I'm cautious that could be me. But I realized that is like, I just took that as truth because I spent so much time in therapy with my mother and in my own therapy. But they combine mental health and addiction treatment because there's so much overlap. And so I kind of got the messages. But like, I've always been a person who like will take on outside truths as objective truth too much. So, and I realized also it's like, it's my life. If it crashes and burns, like, and everyone says I told you so, like, it might anyway. And so far, other people's advice has kind of led me down past that, like, led me more into shame, led me more into like internalizing behavior that was coming from trauma and abuse, like behavior patterns that were bad. And from the outside, they were valid and like kind of characterizing me in that way, and for their own sake saying like that's just how she is. But internalizing their messaging about that, just like, it didn't give me a good way to heal that and to become a better person. So I've kind of had to say like, no thank you, that's not my truth. And it's kind of, to me, that's been scary, because then you worry that's like delusion, right? Like that's always been a fear of mine, is that I would be delusional. And I think, again, a lot of people put that upon me. Anyway, I'm having a drink. um, I don't drink a lot, so it's like, I'm gonna light a candle, and I got this candle from Barnes and Noble. It's called Enemies to Lovers, and it smells like my destiny. Ooh, I can smell being a comic book writer, or like doing comics. I don't know why. You know, when I first started doing tarot, I had the weird urge to smell the cards, and I've always like seen things when I smell things, like different scenes, kind of like, I don't want to say visions, because that kind of implies they're prophetic, or in some way that's not really true. I think they're more like visions in the sense of like dreams or memories my subconscious is bringing up, or like amalgamating into stuff. But yeah, I would always see stuff when I smelled my tarot cards. And I had an experience in meditation with like it was an ungulate animal. I didn't know what it was, but because of the black and white, I figured it was a pronghorn. And I really have to be careful, because like the concept of a spirit animal is like appropriative, I think. And my friend, like, I'm embarrassed that wasn't something I thought of. My friend had to tell me that, but it's like, it is something that has personally resonated. And like one of the biggest things with the pronghorn is like accessing intuition through smell. And so it's my culturally appropriated animal, and I seldom talk about it because of that reason. It's personally resonant to me, and that's like, my cope is that if I keep it internally and don't like claim it as mine, in the sense that like I'm talking about like, oh, pronghorn is my spirit animal, like it can stay inside, except for in like very minor cases where I'm talking about it. It's funny that I see Danny doing this, and I don't know if it's projection. I mean, piss goblin incident aside, like I see him. It seems like the first thing he does when he encounters like a strange object is to like smell it. I think maybe I'm crazy, but when I noticed that, I started to see him doing that all the time. So I feel like no unique experiences. Other people do that, but him especially. Anyway, so this has always felt fortuitous. I smell my destiny in this. I smell becoming a successful comic artist. I don't know if that is my fate, but that one is burned down. I do have another one. I don't know where it is. I might buy like 5 of these if they're still in stock. But I have this candle, which is from someplace that is too expensive for me. Well, this is Voluspa French Cade Lavender. I didn't buy it from there. I bought it from a different like home goods store. But this is literally because of Michaela Long. She described it as a sexy man candle, and this is like a classy man candle, and it is this like, I don't know if I see myself like arm in arm with a man in like a tuxedo at a fancy ball or something. I feel like I would be a fish out of water, and I have to start. My temptation was to say like I would embarrass him. I would be and I know I have to start rewriting those narratives. But also I embrace, like, I am a little bit of a gremlin, a lot of bit of a gremlin. So, but you know yourself, but also, you know, don't put yourself down. But this is kind of, yeah, this is like, I would feel like Kaylee from Firefly, I feel like. But she made it work, you know. If you recall the episode, I identify with her. I'm not like a STEM girly, but in terms of gravitating towards like being with the boys and talking about boy shit, that is me. That's my comfort zone. And she could do both. She could be girly, and she could be, I don't know what you'd say. She had a hyperfixation, is all I'll say about that. I hate that we go back sometimes and look at characters from, you know, from earlier times and say like, that character is like neurodivergent. It's like, I don't know. I don't want to apply that label to anyone who's a little bit quirky, but I want to put you on to this. Why am I saying this? This is so stupid. But I have candles that are like tall like this, or like I love these like these super cheap but like votive candles from the grocery store. This is St. Jude because he's the big guns. He is my crisis. This is the guy I get in crisis. And I wasn't even thinking. I went to the store, the grocery store, and I went down the aisle that's like cheap deli meats and cheese. We have a section for like the boar's head and the delicatessen, but then there's the aisle that's like really cheap, like bologna and craft cheese and other things. And on the other side of the aisle was like Hispanic food. And on the bottom, there were just 2 of these St. Jude candles. I should have got both. No, someone else might need it. But it was like just randomly, like not even in the candle section. It was just there. And I was like, sir, I need you. I didn't remember I needed you, but I need you. His color is green, which is for the heart chakra. And that is kind of what I've been working with. And I set up a little, like, I've been doing little rituals here. Some people really cultivate their space and make it very like sacred and clean. And I kind of maybe should be incorporating more of that, but I got all green stuff. I got candles that were all green. They all smell kind of naturey. These journeyman candles are beautiful if you want like a more sophisticated, different sort of smell. Also a little bit more masculine coated, though I hate gendering smells. I think it's so annoying to me. This Summer Rain one, both of these I got from Fry's, which is like our Kroger. This one also is very beautiful. Very subtle. Very subtle. But like, I've started like mixing candles, which can create a smell that is too strong. So I have to like open the window sometimes. And then this one I got at Aldi, which I had no concept of what it was. I did not realize it was kind of more of a discount grocery store, and my friend Laura laughed at me because she goes there all the time and she didn't realize that I didn't know the kind of store it was. But this store is Gardenia, but it's oh, I should be careful not to dox myself, but it has the same name, like the brand has my street name, which is kind of a unique name. So I was like, I have to get this, and they're all green. So this is wonderful. And I have these little fake plants, and I had some bay leaves. I put them in a bowl with some, whatever, I don't have to explain this. I've been doing rituals with this setup for a while because I'm just in like a, we're in it right now. And I think a lot of people have felt like 2025, we've been in it. But I also, I found recently I printed up these cards when I used to play D&D. They're like druid spells. These are for these are for 5th edition, but I started playing 3.5 and I feel like I prefer it because it's crunchier, and I wish I was better at like role playing. And it's weird because like I consider myself an artsy fart and like creative, but in games I only want to play myself. I have such a difficult time. I feel like I'm a very empathetic person, but I have trouble embodying someone else, particularly someone else who's not like naive and sweet and just wants to believe the best in people. I actually, my first ever encounter, I think my first ever game, I played a druid in 3.5, which, first of all, if you know 3.5 or D&D, that is an ambitious character for a first time. You, like in 3.5, you have your shape-shifting and an animal companion, and they all, like, you might as well have character sheets for all of them. I did do a character sheet for my animal companion, but the DM that we had at the time, he was a cool guy. He was pretty infamous for having like very difficult but fair encounters, and also like pretty combat focused. And he kind of didn't rate druids. He thought they were like, for animal lover girls. I'm thinking about Guild Wars 2 also, where's the concept of a girlfriend druid who is like, that class had a stigma of being like very easy, just like auto attacking and healing, which is not the way that game is very action and very high APM. That game has a reputation of being very easy, and that's because of the encounter design. Not like the combat itself is like is very deep and very fast paced and very like fluid when you get into it. But there's the concept of the girlfriend druid, which I always resented, and always, even though naturally I'm a person who likes to play a healer, particularly like a support sort of healer, like a utility support, but also healing. I love healing, but I always pushed away from that because I'm like, I'm not the girlfriend druid. I'm not the support character for the main character. I'm not going to be like just like babysitting my guy friend while he plays the game, while he's the main character. Fuck that, fuck you. Even though sometimes I've like pushed myself away from my natural sort of, it is feminine. I hate the 90s feminism was coming out of me. It's like, it's not feminine to be nurturing, fuck you. But pushing away from my because I feel like I have to, if I have the skill to be like a DPS, to be like speedrunning and setting records, like I have to do that for my fellow girls. Even though it's not naturally me, but it's like if I have the skill and the drive to do it, I have to do it to show them, to be an example. We're all over the place, can you tell? The card. So in 3.5, I play this druid. It was our first encounter, and I realized like they have a lot of crowd control abilities, the druid does. And I was like, I wonder if these stack. That would be pretty bullshit if they did. But I looked it up, and apparently according to the stuff I saw online, they did. And so basically, like, it was in some town or something, and there were, I want to say thieves or bad guys or whatever. And I just layered on all of the crowd control, like AoE crowd control is bullshit. Druid, like 3.5 is broken as fuck. Casters are broken as fuck. Just layering on, it was like snow and entangling vines, and basically the enemies were like completely stuck. They were making grapple checks so they could like kind of move in their square, but they couldn't move. And when they were stuck, the party members could just like come by, like my ex-boyfriend at the time, like playing like thief or assassin type characters, just come behind them, coup de grace them. And Matt, the DM at the time, was like, what the fuck? What did you do? And because I never played D&D before, I did not understand the etiquette of like playing a character, like playing a build that was not like annoying or like overpowered, in the sense that it's like there's no risk, there's no stake. I did not understand power gaming. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. But that made him hate druids so much, and he would have to sometimes build encounters, even though I was trying to, like, I don't want to say I was holding myself back, but I was more careful about make sure encounters are fun for everyone. I don't want to be the main character all the time or ever. But he would definitely design encounters that would like counter those aspects of druid. But I figured out also like taking the feat that could shapeshift you into other like creatures other than animals, creatures with like magical powers or special feats, was like, again, so broken, because the game design did not intend for players to have access to those sort of abilities. Like pixies, ooh, I loved being a pixie. And invisible and flying around, that was my bag. That says something about me also, that I wanted to be like an invisible pixie. And then I had my animal companion. I guess I was kind of being the girlfriend druid. Fuck me. Like this invisible pixie that was just like helping my allies. But in a smart way, right? A strategic way. I just don't want to be the aggressor. I can remember being 5 and playing soccer, and I was always very patiently waiting for someone to pass the ball to me, because we learned about taking turns. We take our turn and someone will pass the ball to me. And it's because for however smart I think I am, it's that black and white thinking where I could not like realize that there was a different context. Like I just wanted this one rule, which is you wait your turn, we share, we are nice, and I was like, yeah, and my dad's like, no, you have to go get the ball. And I wanted to do that because I am I am competitive in like the most toxic way, which is that I am jealous and I want to be number one. But I also don't want to be directly competitive. I don't want to take from other people. I just get jealous of other people, and I want to be better than them. Despite myself, I never would want to admit that, but it is true. I get insecure about being better. And this comes, I think, a lot from percentile testing into gifted programs. One of the most traumatizing experiences is being like 8 or 9 and the results coming back from we had 2 tiers of gifted program. One was called POP, which is like one afternoon a week you get pulled into a special classroom, and then there was PACE, which is like you get bused to a different school, and there are kids from all over the district. And taking this test, I got the results back, and it was like, I don't remember the exact numbers, but basically like, a 97.8 percentile. And I had never encountered that grading system. Like, oh my god, 97.8, that's such a good grade. I must be in PACE, which is like what I always was like, I have to be in PACE. I can't be in POP. I can't be second best. And my mom was like, honey, 97.8 is like an amazing score, wonderful score. But the cutoff for PACE was 98%. And this number doesn't represent like the percent of questions you got right. It represents how you did in comparison to all of the people, all the kids in the district. So you did better than 97.8% of the kids, which is like still amazing and wonderful. But it's just they have a certain cutoff. And all I heard as a 9-year-old who was Hermione basically was, you're not good enough. You failed. You're not good enough. And because I have like, not obnoxious, but still like sweet helicopter parents, I'm an only child, they petitioned to get me in pace and I did. And that was like, it was good. It was overall good, but it was humbling, but also kind of, when you're in gifted programs like your whole life, it really warps your perception of like how, like your ability. Like I was no longer the big fish in the small pond for sure. I was encountering people who have like a scary level of intelligence. Ro Rampton gives this to me a little bit. She has, it's frightening. I feel intimidated by just, it's a kind of intelligence that becomes almost, it's not just like nerdy, like like academics is my personality sort of intelligence. It's like intelligence is the air they breathe, and it is in everything they do. There's a social intelligence, and like understanding comes to them instantly. And I feel like I encounter those people so rarely, first of all because they're rare, but also I feel like they must go through life feeling like everyone is lobotomized. And not even like meaning to be shitty about it, but just like, I don't, like I need to find someone on my wavelength. Yeah, and I was, and being in like a class with those people was very humbling and I think necessary for me. Difficult as a 10-year-old to compartmentalize. And also, again, going through middle school and then my high school also had a 2-tiered program. Just like, you know, I always thought like I'm a middling sort of intelligence kind of person, and I don't know that that's really true. So anyway, I've played a little with 5th edition, and these are cards that I made to remember the spells. This just made it a lot easier for me and my DM when I was picking spells. But I found these and I was like, you know what? This would be kind of fun to include in my rituals. They happen to be green and they're druidic, so that's a nice synchronicity. And this one I decided arbitrarily that I would only pick 3. I could have just picked 1, but I don't know, 3 felt right. And today I was praying for someone who I care a lot about, but they don't know me. And I always have to do that with the intention of like, you know, let this reach them if it will benefit them. Let this reach them if they would want to take it or leave it. But the cards I picked is Healing Spirit. You're not going to be able to see this, I don't think. This is like an animal spirit. This is kind of a really good one, actually, like in terms of action economy, as opposed to a healing spell. Is basically you have an animal spirit that, like, while it's next to them, it's a bonus action to get the animal to heal them for 1d6. This is why, be careful. I am a notorious exploiter of action economy with summons. Yeah, so this is a bonus action. So then you can heal as your standard action, right? But Healing Spirit, I love cute animals. Having a cute animal next to you, like, look, I got this. This is also part of it. Well, part of a different thing, but look at this little fox I got. He's so cute. I've also, like, I haven't had use, especially since COVID, I haven't had a lot of in-person D&D sessions, and I just haven't had I feel like my ADHD is getting worse and it's harder for me to sit and concentrate for 4 to 6 hours. I hate that I have to say that. I could train myself again with the right group of people, but for like a very brief time I painted miniatures. And because I only ever want to play myself, this is a little hobbit girl. I wanted to get better at it. It annoyed me that I wasn't instantly amazing at painting miniatures, and she has an eye patch because I couldn't get the eyes to be the same, and it was triggering me, so I just was like, fuck it, she only has 1 eye. But there's something nice about her, like having this big backpack, and she has a torch. Oh, she has an axe. But see, the axe is only for cutting through bullshit. It's not It's not for cutting people directly, I don't think. It's for cutting through the bullshit or vines that are in her way or ice. So these have been fun. I might incorporate these in my little rituals, which at the end of the day, they're probably just for me. They're just like giving me a symbolic sense of control over my environment. And I think part of that is like, that's delusional. Let's not forget that's not real. But also like my little monkey mind kind of needs it. I had a experience. In this past year, I've really been trying to get over my fear to unlock the most powerful version of myself. And one of the things I did, two things. One was like literally, this is embarrassing, getting naked in the backyard. We have very high walls. So I wasn't, and I also put myself in a corner, but like, I was using the hose to rinse off, and there were points at which I started like, I was like, oh no, mud is getting on me. But then I was like, I'm literally like showering. Like I can get mud on me and it will instantly wash off. And I don't want to get it near any sensitive areas, right? Because it still could be bad, but like just symbolically, like being able to roll around in the mud in this very like primal way, and then realize like you can just wash yourself off, it's okay. There was something so healing, like inner child healing also, to just like to let myself play in the mud and be messy and just exist intuitively. But that, and also the driving I've been doing here in Arizona, the landscape is beautiful, and just like the mountains, it's like another planet, and the biomes are so different. Like if I drive north, it's like pine trees. If I drive south, it's like, that classic Sonoran desert. But between that and that moment where I was naked, just like rolling in the mud, it was like I realized like how much I'm living in this like concrete bubble that is actually, like if I were to zoom out and really get high above it all, like in an airplane, it's like, it's kind of tenuous. And I have to be careful with my fear about climate change, but it's like nature could destroy that in a second. In a second, it could be gone. It's just this little concrete bubble, and there is some safety in it. It's not like it is helping, but it's like the power of nature is like, yeah, we forget. And I remember walking back into the house and walking into a room in my house, and I was like, everything right now, everything that I can see and touch and feel has been man-made, but to be made for my convenience and with like human needs and wants in mind. And this is like completely warping reality, like the planet that we exist on. It's like, it's this little pocket dimension almost, where everything is catered towards human needs and even towards my needs, because I buy stuff that I need and want. And there's something to be said, like I don't think that's wrong. I was like, I don't think I need to go live in a cabin in the woods, although maybe at some point I will. But I feel like taking time to do that, at least like to go camping and stuff, and to like sit in nature and realize like how fragile we are, and how the earth, nature, the world does not cater to us. We create little pockets of like habitats that cater to us, but the world does not. And I think about little cavemen, like it's almost like the hobbits like scuttling around Mount Doom, like Sam and Frodo, like trying to like avoid eyes. Like I imagine that's maybe what it felt for like the cavemen. It's like this awesome power of nature that did not give a fuck about them. And yeah, it's almost like wanting to hide from it because it's so powerful. And like I can imagine them like doing these little rituals. Maybe they think because they didn't have science, and like human brains they have this sense of pattern recognition, and they might, like when it's overactive, they think that their rituals are having an effect, and maybe they are. Maybe there's some spiritual way in which it's like having some effect. I don't know. But you know, so I feel like ritual, which humans have always done, it just symbolically and in terms of training our subconscious, speaking it to it in a language of metaphor, non-literally, is helpful. Even if it's not like, I'm not Harry Potter with a wand. I'm not Hermione with a wand. It is not as literal as that, but I don't know. I got through one of these fucking cards. Jesus Christ. I also have this rock. This is from therapy. Believe. I've lost this a couple times and I'm always like, oh my God, I guess I wanted to, like, when I lose stuff, my cope, because I have ADHD and I misplace stuff a lot, despite my best efforts, it has helped me not live so anxiously. When I say like, okay, I'd like, if I don't need it right away, it's not like my keys or my wallet, I'm just like, it will come back to me when I need it. And that has kind of been true with this rock. And also just the moment of it appearing again is often at times when I needed that moment of it finding me again, as opposed to just having it constantly and it kind of just blending into the background. You know, it's like I appreciate it more when it shows up as a message, like, you know, it's gonna come back around. Keep believing. Jesus, okay. We have protection from energy, you know, warding off the evil eye kind of feeling, evil energy, other people's energy. And then also pass without a trace. Because I feel like in this case, just like having privacy and space would, I mean, we need that. All of us need that at times. We need a space where we can just be, first of all, with ourselves, but then also just with like our loved ones, friends, like really close friends. Like you need that bubble. You do need that bubble. Socially, you need times when, you know, you don't need prying eyes, you don't need people gossiping. Anyway, so I was gonna light a candle, and I have these really tall candles often. I don't seek them. I prefer shallower candles, but sometimes like this was recommended by Michaela, and so I had to get it, the sexy man candle. I'm manifesting a sexy man in my life, although it doesn't have to be, I don't know, debonair. It'd have to be, listen, okay. If you like, if you haven't, go watch like CJ the X, go watch Real Random, go watch Drew Monson, okay? On my good days, I feel like I do have intelligence and creativity that can kind of justify the chaos and manic energy. Imagine that, but like a softer, feminine, gamer girl, nerdy gamer girl, philosopher, artist, but with much bigger boobs. But also chubby. I know that narrows the dating pool. The chubbiness, and that I've come to accept that as not like a failing of mine. It's just like a filter. And I have taste. Like I have a type. My friends will unabashedly say twink, and I take that label sometimes. I have to be careful though, because especially men my age, because like, you know, gay as an epithet was like at its peak, I feel like, when I was in high school, in the late 2000s. And like people were throwing around the F slur too. And I feel like twink can sometimes, even though it's not as harsh, it was and could be thrown in the same way at guys who just happened to not be like big and buff. And maybe they were theater kids, I don't know. But there are theater kid guys who are not gay. Like they're like, yeah, I want to be dramatic and I want to have fun and I want to be artsy, God forbid, but I also like I love boobs. I love women. I respect women, and I love boobs. And I'm also like creative and artsy, but also a guy. Fortunately, in my class, I had some guys who like that, who ended up being like, I don't know, they are like our valedictorians, or like the popular kids at our school, ended up being like the gifted kids who are in like pace and stuff and nerdy, and also often like the theater kids. We had a very nerdy class, class of 2010. I don't know. I'm glad for that. I like, I was much more like broken and damaged at the time, and I was just like trying to be invisible so I wasn't bullied. And I remember, um, I I was always good at like all the academics. In middle school, I had I can't believe this shows you how like jealous I am, and I forgive myself for being like a jealous 12-year-old because I was so insecure. I got the award. It was split by gender, but I got the award for like best English student and best math student, and I was devastated that I didn't also get the one other award for best artist. And it went to a girl named Chelsea, who was like, would have been my rival, but all of the popular girls, again, were like not mean girls. Or maybe I was just like too socially unaware for them to understand them being mean and catty. Like I was just like, I didn't understand the games they were playing. They just seemed nice. But I think Chelsea also had a little bit of weird in her, that like we had a little bit of a rapport. But she was someone who like really, really hit my insecurity, because she was so thin and lithe and gorgeous, and like also that the concept of like a writer. All of those girls were like excellent writers, and kind of in my mind implanted this idea of what a writer, particularly a woman writer, is like. But she got the award for best artist, and I knew as a 12-year-old, it's like, this is shitty of me to be jealous and to be so ungrateful, and to think like, God forbid someone else get an award, like you need all of them. But so I was always good at like all of the scholastic stuff. But I kind of, in second year calculus, I started to fall off of it, and I got pushed more into the art side of it. And I remember there was a kid in my class who like is not a bad guy. Like he was not actually an asshole. He was just a teenage boy. But he was talking about his girlfriend who was getting ready for prom, and he was kind of exasperated about like her worrying about the makeup and the jewelry and the dress. He's like, why do girls do this? And I was like, well, I'm a girl and I don't worry about that stuff. And he's like, I'm talking about real girls. And of course, my lovely art teacher, who I literally just saw last week, she's amazing. She's like, John, but the damage had been done. And I have felt that sentiment, even though it was rarely like said to me explicitly. Because again, I was a ghost. I matrix dodged all the bullying by being kind of a ghost. So that has stuck with me. But I've always felt more comfortable like being in a group of guys, being being in a group and the guys forgetting that I'm a girl in a way. And there's something like, my boyfriend was at this like little technical college called UAT. I say technical, but it was for like, it was explicitly marketed towards nerdy guys, like gamer guys. Like my boyfriend was in digital video, but there was also like NetSec, which was network security. That's where all like the really scary, intelligent people were. Scary, intelligent, and not the socially sophisticated way, but like they're gonna grow up and be like either like black hat hackers or work for the CIA type people. They're gonna come out of that college, despite that college being kind of like shitty, no offense. They're coming out of that college like with 6-figure offers, because they're just like so insanely smart. But anyway, it was like 99.9% guys there. There were like 2 or 3 girls, and the other girls there were like more conventionally attractive and more like feminine in a, I don't know, feminine way. I don't know how to say it, but they would always have like a gaggle of guys. And I just never, I just never hit that frequency for guys. And I recognized that was probably a blessing, especially for the type of person I am. I could not have handled having the spotlight on me in that way. I just didn't have the social intelligence or the backbone, the confidence. But it obviously it pinged my insecurity that like I just was not seen as a woman, like an object of desire, or like a person of desire. Object of desire is sometimes accurate, but like, you know, there are girls who like in the guy group, they're like the girl who like all of them are kind of competing for. And I just was always one of the guys, and that was both a good and a bad thing. But I also was spoken for at the time, so I have to consider that. Like I did have, like Dylan was my boyfriend, and that was part of it. And there were guys that, looking back, I know were flirting with me. I have found that guys who like me somehow take up saying Miss Robin. I don't know why. Guys will sometimes do this. They'll say Miss Robin. I don't know. I assume it's a term of respect, and I don't hate it. It's just kind of funny to me. All this to say, if you like a girl who feels more comfortable being one of the boys, is gonna play. I struggle with competitive games. I would do it with my guy friends. I would probably be shit because I like, very much like Danny, I have performance anxiety when it comes to competitive games. But any other game, like especially like games that involve strategy, if they're not like so high, like StarCraft, a stretch. I would do it. I would try it. But anything other that requires strategy, I refer you to my Druid story. Minecraft also. Action adventure. Horror is a tricky one. I'll watch you play horror, and I'll cheer you on. Because I love watching Markiplier. I love watching Jesse Cox, like the oh god, what is their series called? It's like spooky, I forget. I watched them playing it's a Japanese game where they're taking pictures of ghosts. It was really cool. But it's like Jesse Cox and probably Wild Crendor, I don't know. Maybe not. It was a group of them. I love watching goofy, nerdy guys playing horror games. I would never play a horror game like that myself. So I'll cheer you on. But I'm down for anything. Why am I pitching this? I'm not necessarily looking for a boyfriend. But I am also manifesting a boyfriend. I'm not looking for a boyfriend from like a YouTube video. I am manifesting a boyfriend from the universe. So I'm gonna light this candle. And the way I'm gonna do this, if I can do this properly, is then I stick this in here. Ooh, I don't know if this is gonna work. Usually I use it. Okay. Now I stick this in here. Can you even see this? I think that was too low. Okay. Actually, it's good I used a knife, because sometimes I use like a stick that is flammable, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I used an Apple Pencil once. It was an old one, thankfully, but it got like a tiny bit melted. I'm like, I'm so stupid. It was the back of it. Yeah, so here. Hopefully I find my person. It's gonna be a needle in a haystack. It's gonna be a unicorn. I don't want, like, I know. It's not even about having high standards. It's just like I've been through, I can't say relationship, it was like one relationship where I just like existed as like constantly sucking my stomach in, and him just hating, he might object to this, but like hating my more genuine side, which is like bubbly and talkative and silly and cringe. He just hated it. And I took it at the time as him like training me how to not be cringe. I was like, you know, he was kind of a student leader. He had a certain charisma. He led like Nerf wars and stuff, and he was often the leader of his social groups. And so I was like, oh, he's teaching me how to be like socially intelligent. And it just like wasn't necessarily true. I don't really blame him for it, because I took the, like, I was doing it willingly. I have some grievances about him, but it doesn't matter. But, you know, I spent my whole life like sucking in my stomach. And I've been also in relationships where I just wanted a best friend. And it was so, I have so much guilt about how, like, I went into that relationship thinking that the romantic feelings would come. And they just didn't. And it was like, it was devastating, I think, to both of those people. I don't know. Well, I know for sure for one. But it was cruel of me to, it was selfish to go into that situation just wanting a best friend and in essence leading them on. And so I don't I don't want to do either of those things. I have always felt like the people that I've been like the twings, the guys I've been attracted to, just have always been, as I see it, out of my league. I just have not found guys who I like was attracted to who reciprocated that feeling. But I'm just at the point that like maybe that guy is out there. For my own sanity, I'm gonna believe in soulmates. Yeah, I just have to wait. I'm not gonna do online dating. I've wasted too much time, and I've wasted too much time in relationships where I just was like, I'm just glad someone like likes me, and I just want to feel liked. Like, I want it to be true love. I want a happily ever after with a Prince Charming, and that might be too much to ask. That might be too much to ask in this economy. But I am also at a point where like I'm okay with just having, I'm not a crazy cat lady, I'd probably be a crazy dog lady. But yeah. I can't believe I've been talking. It's been like almost an hour. And I'm not even at the thing that I was gonna talk about. This, like, the whole reason the impetus for making this fucking video. I also haven't eaten my lasagna. It's probably cold by now. I don't mind. I eat lukewarm food all the time. It doesn't matter. Kayla is suddenly very interested. Welcome to my Trisha Paytas mukbang. I probably will cut the parts where I eat because I'm not like a mouth sounds ASMR person. I can't do it. Even though the time on stream when Danny ate those muffins was very cute. And he did the muffin taste test review. One of my, like, hi Kayla. When I go back and watch stuff, that's one of the ones that I like. I'm like, all of those streams bring me comfort, at least the parts where he like doesn't appear to be so uncomfortable. But yeah, that's one of those moments that I go back to. And then obviously the moment where he like shouted me out for the emotes, like I don't know what will top that. I know that's like it's like, dude. Yeah, hi, I love you. You're so cooked if that's like a top moment in your life, but like, I don't know. Maybe we'll grow out of that at some point. This is what I found. This is the most millennial thing, is that I'm in my childhood room as a 33-year-old, and I found my box of like old Pokemon shit, although it's also Yu-Gi-Oh. And I hate that the first thing I thought was like, I imagined an investor bro with like looking at the box with like dollar signs in his eyes. But I also, hi, I love you. I'm also very glad that, what the fuck am I saying? I didn't look at this, like, I'm so privileged that I didn't look at this box and think like, oh my God, this could take a huge chunk out of my student loan debt. Or, oh my God, this could be my ticket to finally having like a longer than few day vacation. You know, I'm gonna sell off all my nostalgia for a moment of peace. Hi, I love you. I don't have to do that. And some of this stuff is like redundant, although it's only a box of stuff, so I'll probably keep it. But there's some diabolical stuff in here. Oh, where's the main one? Okay, so I had to get batteries for these, obviously. This is so sick. I'm just checking if I have one other thing. Do I? No, I took it away. I actually don't. Oh, it's here. Okay. Surprise, surprise. I don't actually live at my parents' house. I live 5 minutes away. And my uncle's house. my uncle has passed away. But I'm over here. At least I have been all the time. I had to go. I'm not going to get into it, but I had to go, no contact with my mother. I'm only here because she's in the hospital. She went in right after. I went no contact with her, which was so shitty from the universe. It's been fine. I found ways to support and communicate with her in ways that like are still healthy for me and for her. And I didn't think she would take it well, but she did. She's been fine, but I'm here to be with Kayla and also my dad because he's on the front lines right now with her. The nurses have been horrendous to her, and I can't necessarily, like, they are put in a situation, it's like war. They really have to become desensitized because it is like war. And I feel like teachers kind of are suffering from the same thing, but they like, anyway. This is a Pokédex. This was one of the coolest things I ever got, and I put batteries in it, and I don't know if you heard that. Pokédex online, enter name. Now, I have to tell you, I am like a basic bitch who always just uses her real name. I just say Robin. Kind of goes back to what I talked about with D&D, where I can't play anyone but myself. Even Panda Puffkin, like coming up with an online handle, I kind of hate Panda Puffkin. It's just like, it's too cutesy. I don't hate it, but I also hate it because it's Puffkin. I was trying to mix two animals together, and I was thinking of a puffin. But I thought Puffkin, and I didn't check it. So now every time I think of my name, I think like, I'm a dumbass. And also, like, is this really a weird name? And also one of my friends, like on her Discord server, she's like, every time I see your name, I just see Panda Fucking. And I was like, yeah, okay. And when I was making the logo for my booth, because she said that, I couldn't unsee it. And I had to really carefully and deliberately design the lettering so it didn't look like Panda Fucking. So I have mixed feelings about my online handle, but it's here now. And I don't think it's going to change, at least for a long time. So I'm going to put in Robin. Here, you can see the little screen. Wow. Dude, you can imagine as like a 10-year-old, this was like everything to me. Because we also, like, me and my friend used to play like, oh, what is the day? What is today? December 3rd? How do I do this? Do I type it in? There's a keyboard. Or do I go up and down? Oh, wait. December 3rd. Is it gonna, oh, wait. I'm curious. It says 2001 right now, and I'm curious if it will let me change the second number. You can only go up to 2009. That's very funny. Okay, apparently it's December 3rd, 2009. I would have been in, I was either a junior or a senior. Well, I would have been, if it's December 3rd, 2009, I would have been a senior in high school. What time is it? Am I stupid? Do I have my phone? Kayla, where's my phone? Did you take my phone? Oh, it's in my pocket. It's broken as fuck. the whole, this is why actually I'm recording this on my shitty iPad. You can see the back has got like really fucked up. And we took it in to get repaired because the screen was also fucked. And I think he messed up the wiring so the camera doesn't work. And I went to get it fixed today because I wanted to record this on this, and I was going to go to Best Buy and get something where it could like see top down to show you the stuff. But he was too busy. He said, come back tomorrow. And I was like, you know what? Maybe that's a sign I need to show my stupid face. So here you go in like fucking 360p because fucking iPad cameras are shit. Maybe intentionally so people don't go to concerts with their iPads. What the fuck? What time is it? 8:01. 8:01. I was kind of hoping it would be an angel number or something, but that's all right. Maybe it's 8:01 where you are, and that's a synchronicity. 8:01 p.m. Alarm? I don't want a fucking alarm. Fuck you. You know what? I'm gonna do an alarm at 2 a.m. And I can do that because honestly, if you looked at a graph of like the times, the frequency that I'm awake at certain times, I'm afraid that 2 a.m. might be one of the most frequent. I am an incorrigible night owl. Would you like to set the alarm function? Hell no. Okay, so here we are. We're in. I think so they have a library, I think, of like Pokemons. I had a little animation. This is one time where I do wish it was like top down and I could show you. Okay, but see, they have the list of Pokemon. And if I click on it, I wonder if it's going to play the sound. No, it didn't play the Bulbasaur sound. Look at the picture of him. Look at him. There he is, the Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur, height 2'4", 15 pounds, type seed. Okay, this is where we start getting into it. I did a blog post about this where like Pokemon from the 90s and like really early 2000s is like there is no consistency. It's not like the big mega corporation. It was just like it sparked the passion of so many little kids, and they like it was a scramble to just like everyone wanted a piece of it, and so many different companies were just like doing Pokemon shit, and there was like no no consistency. Kind of like how in Yu-Gi-Oh, like the duel monsters, the game itself, like as it is known today, the formal actual game that is real, like was developed post hoc. The original series, like in the manga, and then that like initial run, it's called, people call it season 0, where Kaiba had green hair. It was not about the card game. It was serial, it was episodic, and there were punishment games that were like themed around board games or D&D type games, but basically Yugi solved the puzzle, which unlocked this like Egyptian spirit which possessed him, but not all the time. Pretty much it came out when he was bullied or his friends were bullied, and he would subject the antagonist, the people antagonizing him or his friends, to some kind of karmic justice. And in theory, they had the potential to win the game and win their freedom, although most of them were so hubristic that they didn't see the danger they were in, and also couldn't comprehend because he was a, you know, Yami Yugi is a supernatural being. They didn't know they're going to be sent to the Shadow Realm or killed. Very often killed, because this was not like this was a shonen for like a little bit older, maybe not. I don't know, it was a little bit darker than most shonens, I think. But he would be playing these like sadistic games with them, kind of very Saw-like actually, but a little bit more like he was the king of games, right? And so it made a lot of references to games like D&D or dice games or board games, that kind of stuff. And one of the games towards the end of that first arc was a Magic the Gathering kind of parody. And I think this is where Kaiba was introduced, or at least like was a main character, and his brother Mokuba. And people were like so taken by the game. People would write in and like, hey, we want to play this game. Does this game exist? And Kazuki Takahashi was like, oh fuck, should I make this game? And they had a couple iterations of the game that were like not not as fleshed out as the game we have today. There are some cards like that are Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but not in the actual canon of the real TCG. And those are fascinating. But that's also part of why, you know, people like clown on, especially the original like first season. It's like no one knows the rules of this game. It's because they didn't really have, like, that game was not fully fleshed out when they were first making it. It was the anime first, and they were developing the game, but it was not it was not like fully. But people took to that card game so much that is what the show became completely about. You know, we think about Yu-Gi-Oh as a game about a card game, but that emerged just like literally because fans took to it so much. And I think Kazuki Takahashi also kind of must have taken to that idea himself. And I, you know, this, when I get to the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, this is like for Jarvis. This is not for random people. I'm not throwing this video out for random people. This part is for Jarvis, okay? And maybe Curtis, although he sides kind of more on Digimon. But he loves Pokemon. What am I saying? He loves Pokemon too. But I feel like I have a theory. I have 2 data points that people specifically born in 1992 were hit with Yu-Gi-Oh especially hard. Because I feel like Pokemon was like a nuke, but Yu-Gi-Oh was like a tactical nuke, or like a tactical missile that just hit like very specifically so hard. And like it had influence on other people, but there was like this certain like very specific age group where it's like Yu-Gi-Oh really hit. And I know for Jarvis it's the card game, and for me I dabbled in it just because I was a fan, but for me it was like the characters and the really compelling, like, the anime itself is cringe, and for me honestly the abridged series like is my canon. I feel like that's more true to what I want Yu-Gi-Oh to be. Like the original, like the real anime is almost unwatchable because it's like so much for kids and so cringe. But the promise of the premise, why I think it is so compelling, and like why people like stick with it. And oh, I have this, I cannot believe this exists. I cannot believe this is, I'm so happy. Can I find it? Is it in there? Okay, this. I can't, okay, it's like, how long has it been? 20 years? Bakura and Merrick. And this, don't let the cover fool you. This is smut. And I don't even, like, I don't even, you'll have to believe me when I say I don't really read that sort of stuff. I have this just to support the idea that people are still taken by these characters from a kid's show, like not even like an anime, like even Inuyasha or something, I would say, but like a really corny kid show taken by these characters. And I just had to support that because, you know, Bakura was my whole world. I tend to be like quite loyal, as cringe as it is to say. But I feel like it's actually quite a unique sci-fi or fantasy concept. This idea of a possession, first of all, an ancient Egyptian spirit, that's kind of cool, from a magical item. There's 7 of them, the 7 millennium items. But a spirit that is possessing them, but the host can talk to them in their mind. Like they both exist in the same mind and they talk to each other. And in Yugi's case, because Yami Yugi, although he starts out evil, not even gonna cope and be I mean, like, he was not chaotic evil in the way that Bakura is, but he was not a good guy. And he also would have, like, Yugi would black out in the original series when Yami took over, but eventually they became, like, inseparable. And there's that scene that is sometimes a meme where Yugi gets taken from Yami and Yami's, like, inconsolable and racked with guilt. And there's the scene where Kaiba, I forget how it really goes. I've only recently seen, like, the abridged version of it, but, like, Kaiba, like they're in there and Teia's, like, telling Kaiba that little Yugi has been taken away, and Kaiba's like, Yugi lost a game and it wasn't to me? What the fuck? And it was just, Kaiba. That's the most Kaiba thing for you to say, but also, what the fuck? But yeah, this was fuel for a lot of really interesting fan fiction, and I think it holds up because I went back and read some of it, and it holds up as an interesting idea, and like an interesting dynamic, although often a very fucked up dynamic, especially like in Bakura's case, because he's the guy possessing him is the big bad, actually, of the whole series. In the end, he's like the incarnate of evil. I have said before, it was my first crush, and he was voiced by a guy that sounded like a 40-year-old Englishman with a smoker's cough. Just so gravelly and evil. And when I watched Danny's video about, like, Vampire Dad and those, like, TikToks, I was like, and he didn't really understand the appeal. At least maybe he did and he was pretending, but it seemed like he genuinely didn't understand the appeal. And I'm getting triggered that my head is making a tangent with my bed, but I'm just gonna roll with it. Watching that video, I was like, this man has never been an adolescent girl. And I love that for him. And I wish to God I didn't understand the appeal of these videos, but I absolutely do. Because Bakura was very much in that archetype. My only cope is that he was a character in an animated show, and he was not created with the intention of, I don't think, of, like, appealing to little girls in that way. He was just a villain who was camp as fuck. And the English voice actor was on some other shit. In a very good way. And I think, and the host of him was, like, even more sweet and soft-spoken. I mean, Yugi was not, like, that soft-spoken, but he was, like, very sweet and, like, a shrinking violet, and also British, and, like, I did like him also, but I don't know why I always liked, I die for a dramatic, I'm thinking the Kesha song Red Flag. It's like, even though I don't want that in my personal life, those kind of characters, even when they're anthropomorphic animals, unfortunately, it's like there's a certain personality that just makes me blush and makes me, like, want to bash them over the head, but also, like, you know? I'm sorry, there was an original train of thought that I think I'm forgetting, and I'm sorry if that's frustrating. Anyway, Yu-Gi-Oh's great. And it's been very formative. I think if you look at the way that I draw Fox Season sometimes, you can see that influence. Not just Bakura, there's other anime villains that kind of share that archetype, and I really have to be careful because sometimes Fox Season is pushing towards, like, evil and villainous, which is not how I see him. Maybe, you know what, maybe Fox Season, like, is there really a canon? I don't know. Maybe at this point it's like, not that I claim him as a character, but, like, does it really matter? like I'm so worried about sticking to canon, but, like, what is that at this point? But I don't see him as evil. I see us kind of similar to Danny, maybe, but a little bit less self-aware. A lot less self-aware. Someone who likes to play that up. I think in Ned's case, it's like It's from a toxic, it's more of a toxic masculine sort of thing. And especially because he's like he's bordering on the edge of Gen X. It's like an overcompensation a little bit, but I think there's like a hint of self-awareness. He's doing it like kind of ironically, but also mostly not. And he really does care about seeming cool. It's just there's a layer of irony on it because he's self-aware of like how that could be over the top. I don't know. It's a compelling mix to me. And I know I need to work on my own shit. I have this concept for the two boars. Not boars. I'm saying boars because I saw them in Zootopia and I was like, what the fuck? I know they're not javelinas, but like, that's a synchronicity to me. And it was crazy and I was like, fine. And I know I need to work on that. And not like this fox season stuff is like not mine to develop. But when I'm drawing him, I have to be careful to not push too much in the evil direction because he's not a villain. I think he likes to play. He likes to be a heel. I've described him as like a heel in wrestling. He likes to play that role, but I don't think he's really villainous. Yeah, that's it. So these characters have definitely like influenced me, especially in my art that's more like cartoony. The archetype of this guy is like in my artistic DNA for sure. Not Merrick though. I never really gave a shit about Merrick for some reason. I know like this pairing was so popular, and it's not like I hated him. I just like did not. I just wanted to like watch Yami Bakura like be a dramatic asshole and cackle maniacally and like just get up to shenanigans. I loved when they fought, actually. I love when they were fighting like a married couple. So I guess I did a little bit, but like like villains do, because they're both dickheads. They end up fighting with each other, but it was always like I understand the chemistry there that has led to this being such a potent pairing that people are making zines about 20 years later. Anyway, so there's this. And the thing I was reaching for before, which is kind of similar, is one of my favorite Christmas presents. This is a electronic Japanese to English dictionary. Now this I have not, is dead because I haven't got batteries for it, but check this shit out. This is like, I don't want to be boomer about it and be like, my childhood was so good. I think about Danny's video with the boomer memes where he rightly pointed out that it's like very shitty to, in an attempt to make yourself feel better, like position it like my childhood was the best childhood. Because what is the implication there? Your childhood is shitty. And I don't want to say that. I actually have a lot of like sympathy and concern that I've talked about a lot on the blog I have done, I used to, for the kids. And like, but there are good things and bad things in everyone's childhood. This is one of the things I think was quite fun. Although also inconvenient. Would have been way more convenient if this was on my phone. But there's something fun about how tactile this is, while still being like not a formal dictionary. You know, maybe there's someone older than me that was like, you know, why does this have to be like, I like the pages. I like that feeling. You know, I don't want it to be electronic like this. But this was so sick. I loved studying Japanese, and I still do. I go back to it sometimes, but I struggle with focus. I struggle with sticking to one. I usually have like one overarching fixation, and it used to be Japanese. It's been other things that like I just cannot give up. And then I'll have other interests that like I want to cling to, but object permanence almost gets in the way of it. So there's that. This Togepi. This must have been like a McDonald's toy or something. I think it's like it is a spinning top, and there's a way that it works. I think there's a mechanism that involves friction that has long since ceased to work very well. Although maybe a person smarter than me understands how this works. You know what's sad? When Misty got her Togepi, it pissed me off. I can say that and forgive myself because I was a little kid, but I hated, like, I loved Misty, how tomboyish she was and how independent. And then they gave her this baby and suddenly she became someone else. And I resented it a lot. And I know that's like some internalized misogyny there. But God, I loved Misty so much, and I looked up to her because as much as I got that label, like, you're not a real girl, I was never tomboyish and like obnoxious in that way, but obnoxious in like a DW sort of way, where it's like she can be too much, but also you respect how much she does not apologize for herself and her opinions, you know. So I really hated Togepi for what he did to Misty. And maybe that's not a common opinion or even a good opinion, but it is my truth. So long before the Pikachu and Eevee reboot games, again, maybe from McDonald's, although this strikes me as like something I got, like, the only reason I'm saying, like, I'm wondering if this was from a store is like, this is kind of a small, maybe this was from like a vending machine or something, which we did not at the time call gachapon or anything, because we did not, like, if the Asian stores like fucking Daiso or whatever existed when I was in middle school, I would live there. Like, I used to go, we did have a Japanese like grocery store that I would go to and was just like weaving out. And I was trying to be self-aware because I did understand like how cringe being weeb is, but I did kind of, my cope was that I was always trying to do it right and like not perform. Like, you know, I was studying Japanese, like I went to take 200 and 300 level Japanese classes in high school. I was like, no, I mean it, you know, I'm doing it the right way and I'm respecting the culture and I'm not being weeby, but oh, was I a weeb? Oh, did I love every single thing just because it was Japanese. Yeah. And when I was like 10 years old, I remember my mother telling me, when you turn 12, your ability to absorb languages just like drops off a cliff. And being the kind of kid I was like, oh fuck. And so we went to the library and we got some cassette tapes that were like introductory Japanese. And I would play them religiously every night, practicing the sounds. I was supposed to be sleeping, but I was saying those words over and over, trying to get the intonation just right. And that's one thing that's held, even like recently going back, the teachers will always say like, yeah, your pronunciation is quite good. It's really good. It sounds like, yeah, the accent is good. It's just like, that's not really what's important for communication. So I'm glad I have it, but I wish I was better at the Chinese characters, kanji. That would benefit me more in terms of understanding. This is my Yu-Gi-Oh deck. It's probably, I actually don't know. My assumption would be it's kind of influenced by Bakura, but this kind of looks like just like a basic deck. Oh, it's like blue eyes. I think it's holographic too. Can't really see, you know, it's definitely holographic. Do I have Pot of Greed? Have you seen the clip of Drew Offalo talking about how someone commented like Pot of Greed? And I'm like, this is why I'm posting this online. If someone posts Pot of Greed on here, I'm gonna kill you or something mean. Oh, here's Maneater Bug. That's a Bakura classic, Maneater Bug, from that episode that I like. Ooh, I knew it was coming because I was online enough to like kind of see what episodes were coming, like from the Japanese series or whatever. And I knew the Bakura episode was coming, but it's like the way that it's set up, they meet Bakura in the forest around a bonfire, and it's like, it's a cliffhanger. They stop just before the battle with Yugi. And I remember, like, I was watching the episode and I saw the episode, like, the time it was starting to end. I'm like, no, don't make me wait a week. I had to wait a week. And I would replay that episode because I taped it. I taped it on a VHS. I would rewatch that episode where they fought so much. And I recently, like, I saw it on a YouTube video. I rewatched it, and I, like, the cadence of the lines, I remembered every word. Oh my God. Man-eater bug was in that episode where they fought. It ate Joey. He sacrificed himself for his friends because, of course, he did. It's Joey. Although ended up being maybe not a necessary sacrifice. I can't really remember. Graceful Charity. This is like, I would like to be this. Oh, it's holographic, but just the card. That's kind of interesting. You can't really see it, but just the card is shiny. That's nice and kind of a, it's a subtlety I feel like they wouldn't apply to a lot of modern cards. Fire Sorcerers. I don't remember this card, but yeah. Also, Yu-Gi-Oh cards are on some other shit. Like the art, I mean, I know that's not a hot take, but like, I don't know. I know a lot of, I went into a professional development course. It was called Smarter Art School, and it was definitely very illustration focused, and even like very like targeted the kind of illustration like Wizards of the Coast or book illustration, but a lot of them wanted to be like fantasy illustrators in this genre. And I definitely benefited from that experience. It was very expensive, maybe too much for me to justify as like not a professional. But I know that's not really my style. I didn't quite fit in. My style was a little like cartoony, and I wasn't as much of a nerd I am. I feel like I don't resonate as much like the people who are like really into fantasy and D&D and stuff. It's like not exactly my bag. And I'm not really drawn to drawing fantasy illustrations in that way. I like drawing fictional characters. They're just like, you know, whatever Fox sees, that kind of stuff. Or people I admire. I love doing portraits and caricature. But this art is so good. And you know, oh, this is one of maybe my favorite one. Because this is also a Bakura classic. And represents his character, right? Although, when we say change of heart, that's kind of weird because he's split in two, and it's not really him, it's two different people. He's possessed. And he's kind of a victim to it. He, unfortunately, not even because he's a weak person, it's just because what has overtaken him is like the devil himself. But in that episode I was talking about, he manages to sacrifice himself in a way that gets him away. These are all really classic cards. Monster Reborn. And in that episode, Taya cries and revives one of her allies, which is not how the card works, even as they explain it in the episode. But the power of friendship, right? That's very like early 2000s. Yu-Gi-Oh especially, but I feel like early 2000s is like the power of friendship presented in an unnuanced way. It's just literally like the magical power of friendship will overcome everything. And I wish we had lived in that reality. Can I make this not 2 hours long? Okay, I might have to wrap this up because I feel like an hour and a half is like kind of, I don't know, kind of where I would reach my limit if I was watching something, I think. I don't know. Okay, I have to show this. It's so funny. Wait, there's two things. Where the fuck is it? No, where's the other one? It's in here. What's that? No, it's not. Sorry, there's some magazines. There's Beckett Pokemon. Oh, here it is. Okay, so I don't have a lot of these. This is Beckett Pokemon. The art is crazy. Is it elitist for me to say that it's a little scuffed? But in an endearing way. Well worn, not just because they're old, but because I like, these were, you know, I have comfort YouTube videos now. This was like, my comfort media. I think I took these to camp, like to Girl Scout camp actually, which is kind of cringe. I also took the Prima strategy guide for Final Fantasy VII to Girl Scout camp. And the girls were like, most of the girls after a couple days acclimatized, and they were like, why do you want to go home so bad and just play video games? And I was like, I know, but like, I love the Three Beasts. Gold version was my first Pokemon game, and I had a pink see-through Game Boy Advanced, and it did not have a backlit screen, so I had to have a thing that you plugged in with a lamp, like a little tiny lamp, and it drained the battery like shit. So even though like it was really good for road trips when we were driving to Disneyland to see my aunt, and it was dark, like it's like, yeah, that'd be good, but like the battery's gonna last for like half an hour. Still good luck. Maybe more like an hour, I'm exaggerating. The edition of this it says, Konnichiwa, watashi wa Robin desu. Amazing. Classic. Love that. And then this one, I was so over the moon. Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. Pikachu as yellow eyes, white metal rabbit. What the fuck we would say? Oh my god, dude. And they had other magazines that were Yu-Gi-Oh! Specific that I think are at my uncle's house. I should say my house, but I call it my uncle's house for the distinction of it. Oh, I love this. They included like little kids fan art. Isn't that so sick? Some of these are, I mean, all of them are amazing. Some of them are like really, in terms of like rendering, very skillful. Look at this. That's so cool. Okay, I have to show this because it's like her OC, but she's like a ninja with a Flareon. I don't even think, I mean, I don't know how old this kid is, but like 13. Yeah. Incredible for a 13-year-old. I was looking for, okay, well this is this top one, Beckett Yu-Gi-Oh! I have one, it has a cover that is not holographic, but one of those shifting pictures. It's like ribbed and it has like, you know what I'm saying. I got one of those. I was trying to get a Star Wars shirt for my dad at GameStop, but they had a framed thing of Yugi and Yami as one of those. And I was like, this is dorky as fuck, but I need this for my house. I wish it was Bakura, but you're never gonna find, like, you don't find Bakura. It's just gonna be Yugi. So it's on the wall next to my bathroom. Every time I go in, I see Yugi, Yami, Yugi, Yami, Yugi, Yami. And I'm like, this is sick. This is what being an adult is all about. Okay. Oh, they have a Yu-Gi-Oh! Section. Yu-Gi-Oh! Episode reviews. It's time to duel. I remember there was one section where they were like creating like if there was a Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie, and they were like pitching what actors would play each character, and because I was little and stupid, very unaware, I thought this was really happening. It was a real movie that was real happening. I was telling my friends, like, oh my god, they're coming out with a Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie, and I don't know who it would have been. Okay, it's just a little scuffed in a good way, but like, oh, who is doing this art? It's so cute. Oh my god, they have Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan art too. And there's Bakura. Look at him. He's so cute. I don't know where stuff like this exists anymore. Like, where are kids getting this? It's gotta be online, right? Oh my god. This poor Professor Oak. Can you see? Hold on. I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna get out of here. Look at his eyeballs. My man is tweaking. I have not. It's been an hour and 40 minutes. My lasagna, I have taken 1 bite of. My drink, I've taken 2 or 3 sips of. LaCroix, Mountain Dew. My dog, wondering why she has not had any. Hi, I love you. Do you want to say bye? Do you want to say bye to everyone? Okay. Oh, yes. I'll give you a bite of lasagna, I promise. Oh. Oh my God, my stomach. I'm so sorry. Say bye. Oh, yeah. Say bye. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Okay, here you go. I'm gonna put you down. I'm gonna put you down. Thank you, I love you. Don't lick my face. Thank you. Okay, bye.